Bom dia, meus irmãos e irmãs! Neste episódio 229 do podcast Good Morning Guys. Muito obrigado por se juntar a nós nesta bela manhã, tarde à noite, enquanto falamos sobre o jogo da vida. Em meio aos outros jogos, nós amamos assistir e jogar. Eu sou um de seus anfitriões, o alpinista brasileiro e ninja de transição, Lucas Sam Swisher. Oi. Também comigo, o juiz, júri e executor de notícias falsas e spoilers, Patrick Novacell.
I know what you said only because I've been on this podcast for 4 years. This is also in English. This is for those first-time listeners. If you're still here, this is an English podcast.
I know this doesn't help the audio portion, but do I need to put subtitles in this?
I wonder when you throw it up on YouTube if it's going to give you subtitles there.
Talvez. E o membro final do GMG Quadfecta, aqui comigo nesta noite porque Ronaldo está morto. A cara com música em seu coração, Doctor Who em seu cérebro e La Carreta em seu velho estômago, Marc Boucher.
What makes me sad is that they don't have Portuguese words for spoilers and quadfecta yet.
They really don't. They say spoilers, so you know.
That's sad.
What are you gonna do?
Yep.
All right. If you're a new joiner, sorry if you don't speak Portuguese. Welcome. We are the Good Morning Guys podcast. Feel free to listen to a past episode where you can find out what I said. That's part of the or come back next week to find out what I was saying.
Or just use Google Translate.
Whatever you. I mean, I don't.
Pen and paper, write it down.
It's possible my pronunciation was not that great. So we'll see.
In that case, what you'll get is hilarious.
That is correct. That is correct. This morning, we almost got the whole crew back again. If you didn't understand from what I said, Ronald is dead. So he's not with us. But tonight, we do have 3 of the 4.
So, almost there.
Yes. We are going to be talking about life. We're going to be talking about games. And we're going to be talking about more life tonight. So buckle up. Click it. Click, or ticket. I don't know if your guys' seatbelts in your cars sound like that, but mine does here in Brazil. So
if not, they should.
Yeah. Click, click. Click, click. All right. Who wants to start? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch Marc by its tail?
I feel like I should go first because I have probably the least amount of update of the 3 of us.
Well, let's ramp it up. So, Marc, you lead the way. Let the good times roll, my friend.
Oh, yeah. So, seeing as I'm wearing this here shirt.
For those audio listeners, he's wearing a Power Ranger shirt that says "Go Power Rangers."
Yes, absolutely. That is
a lie.
Absolutely not what I'm wearing, although not too far from what I would normally wear.
Does that say let the good times roll with a smiley face on the O?
No, a dice. A dice? A die.
A die.
A die.
One is die. Is a die.
One is die.
Yeah, one is die.
I'm getting that confused.
It sounds kind of aggressive when you're like, a die. It's like Mario telling right before he kills him, a die. It's me, Mario. A die.
In particular, it is a 20-sided die, also known as a D20.
20.
Yeah.
It's like categories.
Yeah. It also kind of looks like this.
That's a huge die.
It's a big old die right there. So yesterday we had our very first Dungeons and Dragons campaign with Comics and the Cross. It is their main sort of theme show for their D&D stuff is called Let the Good Times Roll.
Nice.
Nice. Did you all have those shirts?
No, funny enough, I'm the only one that has one, I think.
Oh, nice. Play the part.
but he actually used me for promo.
There you go. Nice.
Which was totally fine. But yeah, so we are doing a D&D campaign. It's going to be, I think, like 8 to 10 weeks. And last night was our first session. The theme of the campaign is called The Chronicles of Andrasia. No More Humans is what it's called. And
it's rude.
Well, there's a reason why it's called that.
For humans, anyways.
Yeah, a little bit. No, basically the theme of it is there's this big thing. It's settled in on Andrasia is the name of the planet or whatever, and it's focused in on a particular city in Andrasia called Union City, and it's called that because of a thing that they celebrate every year called Unification Day, where they commemorate this big battle between several heroes and this evil being called Armageddon, and they celebrate the fact that they thwarted this evil entity, and it is the 1000th celebration of Unification Day. And so all of our characters it's myself and let's see, one, two, 4 others, so 5 total, and then the DM, the dungeon master. The dungeon master plays all the NPCs, the non-playable characters, and he narrates the story and facilitates everything as we go along through the story. And all of our characters are basically converging for Unification Day, and that's how we end up meeting, because disaster of course happens on the day of the Unification Day, the 1000th celebration, and then we go from there.
Now, is this an original story that Cross created?
It is a homebrew campaign. Yes, completely something that Cross developed, at least the story. Our characters we created ourselves. So I am a wood elf paladin. So
what does that mean?
So I'm Legolas with magic powers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And he always greets people by saying trees to meet you.
I should say that.
You really should.
Well, not so much Legolas because he's not a wood elf, but think along the lines of that. Like, he doesn't necessarily live in the forest all the time, whereas my type of elf does.
Okay.
But he has the ability to summon magic. He's pretty much a tank, as much of a tank.
A wooden tank.
Yes, a wooden tank. But I completely, you get the creativity, the creative license to be able to create your own character. Now, granted, there are certain rules you have to follow in creating the stats for your character that Dungeons and Dragons has in place.
You can't make yourself like OP like I used to do in one of those baseball games where it's like make my stats 100 for everything.
Yeah, you can't be a cheat code in this. So D&D has a particular formula that they use to set up all of those character stats. And this is the first time I've ever done a D&D campaign whatsoever. So the website that we use for it, you just click and it does it for you, basically. If you don't want it, you have the option to develop your character like that yourself, if you want to. But in terms of character stats, I just hit the button and let it go.
Roll the die.
Yeah. But in terms of his backstory, that's all me. It's something I got to develop. And each person has their own character that they have to develop. Even though the DM, it's his world, we essentially create the story. And then we have all sorts of battles that we go through, and you have to roll the dice in order to, you
have multiple dice?
Yes, there's multiple types of dice. The one you use the most is the D20. And
the D20.
Yeah. And then there's other different types, depending on This is for, whether you're making the decision, whether something hits or doesn't, or whether certain circumstance happens or if it doesn't. But then there's other smaller dice that you use for, like, okay, if this attack hit, now how much damage does it do? And
Okay.
then you have modifiers that are on your character sheet that basically, if you have to use this attack and you get a certain amount, you can roll that dice and it helps your damage and all that kind of
Okay.
stuff. It does get pretty convoluted. I barely have an understanding of it right now myself.
Mm-hmm.
But the nice thing is, a lot of the guys in the campaign, this is their second campaign, so they're still pretty new. Caleb, a space hawk, he is the one with the most experience in the campaign. He's got a couple of years on us, but for the most of us, like, we're noobs. So, and this is Cross's first DM experience, first time
Okay.
developing a homebrew thing. So, yeah, it was fun last night. I kept getting really crappy dice rolls to where, the first battle we got in, I kept whiffing all my shots, but
No.
Oops.
but I did help a little bit, because there was a character that was injured. It was actually Caleb's character that was injured very badly and pretty close to death. And my character has healing spells, and so I was able to go up there and heal him up to the point where he was able to pull off a whole bunch of super nice rolls and defeat a lot of the goblins that we were fighting.
Nice.
But yeah, no, it was a great time. Obviously still learning from it, but yeah, we had a lot of fun. And it's
So is the campaign over?
no, this is an 8-week process.
Oh, so you're doing this for another 7 weeks.
Yeah.
Is it like is Cross like moving the story along where it's going to be 8 weeks long?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How does he do that?
He has an overall sort of general idea of a story and a world and characters that he wants to introduce.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, we as characters kind of sway the direction, and he has to react.
So how long was your first session?
3.5 hours.
So are all of them going to be like 3.5 hours, or until one
Probably
could be
about-
3 hours, one could be 4 hours, depending on where the stopping point is?
Yeah, it really depends where the stopping point is, but based on the last campaign they did, because this is their second streamed campaign as
Yeah.
well, they were about 3.5 to 4 hours
Okay.
each time.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
You guys
What if you all
take
die?
breaks?
yeah,
Yeah, that's
we're allowed-
another question. Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, the when you had healed Caleb's character, if he dies, is he done? Is he done? Is it permadeath?
So you basically have 3 opportunities. They're called saving throws, to be able to roll the dice and try to essentially resurrect your character to the
Yeah.
point where we could, heal him and everything.
Mhm.
But if you fail all 3 attempts, then your character is dead, and you basically have to create a new character if you want to
Oh.
continue on in the campaign.
So if you create a new character, do your stats just like? Do you develop like an RPG? Do you like increase like a skills tree or stats as you play?
Yeah,
So if
but
he gets
you
a new
gain
character-
XP with each fight. Like, we started off, we were all level 1s. From
Mhm.
this first battle we had last night, we gained enough XP to where we're all level 2 now. Because I'm level 2 now, it unlocks the ability for me to equip spells. I had some like level 1, like bare minimum spells I could use, but now it unlocks a whole wealth of different second level spells and things like
Okay.
that. And the more you gain XP and gain levels, the more things you can do and customize your character. Now, granted, you have to basically prepare your character for each session. So each person has to go in and, like, okay, I want this and this ability, I want this and this weapon equipped and everything like that. And so by the time the session starts, you're ready, and what you have is what you have. So yeah, but you gain XP. You can loot any characters that you kill to gain any sort of gold, or they call them Gideons in this game. not to be confused with the guys who give out free Bibles. But
Ooh, you pay with free Bibles.
that
It's
would be
like
amazing.
400 Gideons. It's like, all right, we'll get ready. You
Here's a
just
pocket
drop
New
400
Testament for you.
Bibles, 400 pocket New Testaments. Here they're coming at you.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It can be very intimidating just because it can get very in depth. And like I said, this is an all new experience for me. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Now, usually these type of games are not your cup of tea. Do you like it better in person and within the land of make believe?
Do I like it better?
Well, you don't always like RPGs with skill trees and convoluted
Yeah,
systems. This is a
one's
little more
bit
enjoyable
yeah, this one's a little bit more enjoyable, I think.
since it's real fake life.
Yes. And you're having fun with your campaign, with your party,
Gotcha.
about the process. And it's fun to role play and pretend to be your character, essentially, because you have to have conversations with NPCs and make it up as you go.
Look out! This summer, Mark is gonna hit the field and start LARPing.
Yeah, he is.
No, I'm not all about that.
We'll see. Jury's still out on that one.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I've been having a lot of fun with it, and this is only first session, but I'm excited to jump back into it next week.
Cool.
On this is more of a mix of gaming and real life, I guess. I shared a little bit last week about how I had purchased a Steam Deck. And of course, as you can see here, the Steam Deck has arrived.
There it is.
It's there?
It is there. It is very much.
Oh, that just looked like a black thing.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of black.
It's just a bunch of I see it now. Now that you got it at a good angle, I can see the like super high thumbsticks. Yep.
Nice. So I'm not gonna lie, it's been a little bit of a struggle this past weekend for me to find a game that I really want to play on Steam. Now a lot of why I purchased the Steam Deck is I wanted to buy games that were more like not really available on console. They're like more PC exclusive games. Now granted, that's easier said than done because a lot of what's on Steam, at least that portion of Steam, they're multi-platform stuff. Now granted, they have PC exclusive stuff, but they have like really crappy games too, if you really go looking. But yeah, I spent the whole weekend just trying to thumb through the different
on the hunt.
Yeah, different games I could play and stuff. And some of the games that when I downloaded them and would go to boot them up, like they wouldn't work at all. Like they advertise PUBG all over the Steam store and everything. Trying to boot that up is a nightmare on the Steam Deck. But I did manage to play a few games. I downloaded Hypercharge Unboxed, which is it's basically you're playing with it, your characters are toys in like a toy store kind of setting thing, but it's almost like a horde mode / tower defense kind of thing. At least the main thrust of the game is. They also have like deathmatch and versus modes on it and that kind of stuff. But I'd heard a lot about it from Ryan Straube, so decided to download the demo for it and not really sold on it.
I think the demo is like alpha demo. I mean, they have done so many updates to the actual game that it looks and feels way different when compared to the demo.
Okay.
So you get a taste of what it is, but the graphics have been improved. The game has been optimized. They've added more maps, more characters, more things to do. So if you thought the demo was okay, I would definitely give the actual game a shot. Now, and it's co-op as well.
Now, is the main thrust of it is it mainly horde mode and tower like?
Yeah. The main thing is you get waves of enemies, and the waves of enemies get harder and harder. But the enemies are like all like toys, so you're gonna get like huge toys that are gonna come at you. That like a Tyrannosaurus Rex toy is like a boss. So having to be able to you're not just shooting, it's third person and first person if you want to do that. Yeah. But it gets very, very chaotic, especially it's okay playing it single player. It is way more fun when you're with another person.
Okay, well, I may have to do it with another person, but yeah, typically like horde mode, that type of defense game, like that's not my cup of tea.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, I'd be willing to give it a try again, but yeah, so I gave that a try. I also played a game called Bright Memory Infinite.
Ooh, I've been wanting to play that game. How was it?
It's your standard first-person shooter. I mean, it was cool. It didn't like blow me away.
Yeah, I think one person made that game.
Yeah, really?
Yes, one person.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny how like the opening cutscene, she's in a room and like her hair is like flowing in the wind, and it's like you're inside in a room. Like, what is the deal?
You never had that inside wind just hit you in the right angle and make your hair flow?
It's like playing Avengers and like Thor's cape is just like going everywhere.
Yeah.
Or through his body.
Yes.
But the gameplay itself was good. It's like I said, it didn't blow me away, but it was good. It's a typical first person shooter type thing. But yeah, I played that as well. I also bought a game. It was on sale on Steam for like $2.99. It was a game called Foregone, and it's a 2D platformer, and it's like cyberpunky kind of sorta.
Yeah.
And I've been having fun with that. I've been enjoying that, so that's a plus. That's been a good one. Now one I kind of have to wait on because it's $40 on the Steam store. And I've been wanting to play it for a while, even though it is multi-platform. Is a game called Solar Ash, which is a 3D platformer.
Isn't that on Game Pass?
I don't know.
Oh, well, continue, and I will look it up.
To the Google machine.
But yeah, I have not purchased that yet. I have put it on my wish list. I'll probably pick it up on Friday, because Friday's payday.
Nope, it's not.
It is not? Okay, cool.
Nope.
I thought you were telling me, nope, it's not payday. I'm like, what?
Oh, it is payday. Sorry.
Sorry about your luck, sucker. No payday for you.
No. But yeah, I mean, overall, and I also need to get a new SD card, because I bought the 64 gig version of the Steam Deck.
You can put like Word doc on there, and that's it.
Yeah, like I've been able to fit most of the games. The only exception has been Apex, because Apex is 67 gigs. Because I just wanted to see how that worked on the Steam Deck, because that's one of the ones I think it's Steam Deck verified. Like it's been optimized for the Steam Deck.
Nothing like playing on your Steam Deck against the PC guys with mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, well,
that seems fair.
I kind of, I mean, I've kind of done that already because they have the cross-platform stuff now, and I've had it on there.
Oh, yeah, I turned that off.
Really?
Yeah, I'll play with only with Xbox and PlayStation. I don't play with PC.
Yeah, fair enough.
Unfair, not fair. It's unfair.
Unfair
enough.
But yeah, I gotta buy an SD card for it to expand the space. But
yeah, for sure. Make sure you do a little bit of research, because some of those SD cards are specifically for like games like in systems like the Steam Deck. So do a little bit of research and make sure that you get like a fast one, because some of them, you get the wrong one and it won't boot games, or won't boot it correctly. You got to go through some hoops. So
gotcha.
Be careful which one you buy.
Okay. 10-4. But yeah, have not obviously not given up on the Steam Deck. There are some like there are a couple of games I'm interested in, but a lot of the Steam Deck verified ones are games that have been out for a minute that I've either already played or I'm just not interested in. So I mean, it's still very early on for the Steam Deck, so they probably will start bringing more and more games that I'll be interested in. I know.
Yeah, and even if this a game is not Steam Deck verified, it doesn't mean that it doesn't work.
Right.
So with some of them, they're playable. You just have to change a couple settings, and it runs fine.
Yeah.
Some games are just not optimized for Steam Deck, and they just don't run.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful about those. But there's some sites out there where you can look. I watch a YouTube video, or YouTube. I subscribe to a YouTube Steam Deck channel that goes through all the newly Steam Deck verified games and also games that are not verified, and they also go through like the settings and things like that. So if there is a game out there that you're like, ooh, I would love to have this one, just do a little search and just see, because there's a lot of like Reddit threads and things like that of people updating their settings for each individual game, which is one of the things I hate about PC gaming. Is, oh my gosh, the console gaming, you can just put it in, plop it in,
plug and play,
and you're
baby.
ready to go.
Yeah.
And the PC, you got to change some settings. So
got to check them rotary girders.
Yeah, you got to make sure that rotary girder is set to medium.
True story. I thought about maybe, but I'm back and forth with it. The idea of possibly, because I'm definitely getting Hogwarts Legacy when it comes out, because it comes out next month.
Yeah.
And I believe that is a Steam Deck verified game.
Is it?
Yeah, I believe it is.
Okay.
But I don't know that I want to constantly play it on a handheld device.
Oh man, laying on the couch playing the Steam Deck, it's fantastic.
I'm not sure, especially a game like that. But I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I'm so far. There have been pros and cons to it, but I'm not giving up on it.
Yeah.
And then the only other thing I've got been going on is more and more Fortnite, which I had another stream this past weekend. Streamed with Tim and Chad and Jen once again, and had a great time. This was a night stream this weekend, and had a lot of fun with that. So I'm keeping the Fortnite train going. I said this on Twitter, and I totally get if people disagree with me and still love the game, because there is a lot to love about the game still, but I'm just saying it. I kind of got tired of Apex. I did. It's just, I don't know. I don't feel like there's been enough innovation for me. And after playing it for like 2.5 years, like I was like, okay, I kind of want to do something else. Now, granted, I know Fortnite is a battle royale, but I feel like, at least from my perspective, they do so much crazy stuff in the world and with all the skins and things like that keeps it really interesting for me. But that's me. So yeah, Fortnite very much has its hooks in me at this point. I've been grinding on the battle pass. I think I'm at like level 163 right now, because you can actually get up to 1,000.
That's it?
Yeah.
Those are rookie numbers. You got to pump them numbers up.
Yeah. What is it? Apex, it's like 110, I want to say.
I don't know what it is anymore.
But now, granted, you only get, I think you only get like battle pass stuff up to like level 200 or something like that. But yeah, I've other than some bonus rewards, I've basically maxed out the battle pass and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm having an absolute great time with it. So
nice.
But I think that is pretty much it with me.
All right. Well, very good. As is tradition. Yeah, thanks. We're going to go right to me, as is not tradition. I'm going to share a little bit. And from where we left off 2 weeks ago, after Marc and I had a little fireside chat, I finished up the little mission training team camp that I was a part of. And I got back from the camp and something didn't feel right. My tummy was talking to me. And I'll just stop there. But I went to the doctor eventually because I really perceived that I was experiencing something that I hadn't experienced before, and chatted with the doctor, and he told me I got worms.
No,
I got a parasite while I was at camp.
Oh no.
That wrecked me. And it definitely gave me a little scare because there's some rumblies in your tumbly. There's some things that happen when you get a parasite that if it's left untreated, there's some symptoms that, better left unsaid, but it's bad. So I went to the doctor. He got me some parasite medication, some deworming. I got dewormed, and took about 3 days taking some medication that made my pee glow super yellow, like glow in the dark yellow.
Oh, no.
radioactive.
I was pretty much a radioactive.
Like, oh man.
What is it, 1990? Yeah, do a little rave every time I went to the bathroom.
I like to move it.
So, yeah, so I got a parasite. That was fun. And then later on that week, I quit my job and I got a new one.
You're crazy, man.
Living life on the edge.
So I am finally, for the, after 15 years? No, it's 15 years. That's way too many. Oh, no, it's pretty close to 15 years. I'm working a 9 to 5. I got a job teaching Bible and coordinating the discipleship program at Mindy's and the Kids School. So,
dude, that's
all 4 of us.
All 4 of you at the same place. That's
going
awesome.
to school.
That's really cool.
It's very exciting. Just getting the job here with my mission projects and trips and stuff, especially with the pandemic. It got tough, and
yeah,
I had to get creative sometimes, and it was building back up. But I realized that I was not really getting to fulfill my desire and call to be not just a missionary, but be a pastor, to invest in people personally. I was getting to invest in people for like 2-3 weeks, and then they would leave, and then I would have another couple months of doing a lot of phone calls and conferences, and I don't get a lot of kicks out of conferences and congresses and all these just, I don't know, hoity-toity meetings. And I'm just like, nope, I want to be in the trenches talking to people about Jesus. And so I'm going to be doing that with the school that my family's been a part of, that I've been a part of. I'm going to be working with the chaplain. I'm going to be working with a lot of people that already know me. So it's been a pretty seamless, integration into the work culture there, into the community. So it's pretty exciting. We just finished our in-service days, and we have a holiday tomorrow, and then we will start classes on Thursday. One of my classes, of course, will be Natasha's class.
Really?
So
oh, that's cool.
I will be my daughter's teacher. I did ask her. I said, Tasha, how would you feel if I were your teacher? And she paused for a second. I was like, oh no. And then she smiled and said, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. So
now let's see how it goes in about 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, let's see. After a week of class, Dad, you gotta figure out your life.
Can we
You're
be
like,
done with this?
Natasha, you got to figure out your grades here.
Yeah, you're already failing the class. So I'm.
You live with the teacher. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Now you know if she's doing her homework.
Exactly, for sure. There will be no escape from this teacher. So yeah, I'm getting back into teaching, and I'm excited because it's very much pastor heavy as well, because I'll be getting to help adjust and better and guide their discipleship program as well, that works with the students and the faculty and staff and everybody. So it's going to be exciting. In addition to that, we had a special friend over for breakfast the other day. It was actually a surprise visit, and it all started while we were sitting at the breakfast table. We were eating our breakfast. I don't remember what we had. And Mindy looked to my right and her eyes got big, and she was like, "What's that?" And I look over, and I see what I think are little lizard feet and a little tail. And I was like, "Oh, it's just a little," because we've had lizards in the house, like little gecko looking lizards that eat bugs, and this looked like a dark colored one, like a black one almost. And I was like, "I think it's just a lizard," and she's like, "I don't think that's a lizard." And I noticed that it was a little wider than a lizard, and the tail was a little shorter. And we started to get freaked out because we realized there was a bat at our kitchen table.
Oh, what?
The animal, a bat, like not Batman, a bat. And it was just hanging out between the wall and our kitchen table, hanging underneath the ledge of our table, just sleeping, just hanging out. So we quickly panicked.
Yeah.
We all back from the table, and I'm like, wait, we got to take care of this bat now before it realizes what's going on. It's going to start flying around, and once a bat, bird, whatever flying thing starts flying around in a closed space, it's like it's going to poop everywhere, and it's going to be hard to catch and calm down. So I was like, okay, we need to be cool. I'm going to hand the stuff from the table. So I handed all the stuff from the table. We got all the stuff off the table. The bat hadn't moved at that point. It was just, I think it was trying to take a nap. And I had him get a plastic Tupperware bowl, and I put it on top right above where the bat was. And I slowly backed the table away from the wall, so there was a gap. And then I pulled the tablecloth towards the Tupperware, and the bat like slid right under the Tupperware, and I just punk right on top of it.
Oh,
and
wow. Ninja.
This was a live bat. Like this thing, once it realized I had trapped it, it started going like,
oh, creepy.
crawling around everywhere, and we're just like, what do we do next? So I had Mindy get a piece of cardboard, and then I slid it under. And I mean, I had to this wasn't a big bat, but it still was a bat. Mm-hmm. And I had to lift up the Tupperware just enough to slide the cardboard under and seal it. And I was able to do it. We went outside, walked through our yard, across the street.
I was going to say as far away as you can from the house.
Far away as I could from the house, and I took the lid off, turned it right side up, and then took the lid off and just pushed the Tupperware in the air, and that baby just took off. And its wingspan made it look way bigger than what it was, but it was a bat, and it was in our house. And we lived to tell the tale. There was no bat guano all over our floor. I don't understand how it got to that point where the other two times we've gotten bats in our house, they're like flying around our living room, flying around our kitchen, and I just open a door and it eventually just flies out. This one was just like, hey, can I have some bacon and eggs? I've been waiting here for an hour, waiting for you people to wake up.
Me?
Yeah, what's the deal?
All I can imagine is you running around like Ace Ventura and Shakaka.
Yeah. Dude, it was crazy. There were no words. I'm still dumbfounded that we had a bat at our table when this was at the end of breakfast that we discovered this. So it had just been there hanging out while we're eating breakfast. So
well, at least it didn't interrupt anything, in terms of breakfast.
Right.
Let you eat before
it let us eat breakfast before its little toes. Its little toes just popped up out, from the bottom. Like we had disturbed it, and it was trying to figure out how to reposition itself. So yeah, that was this has been the day in the life of a missionary in Brazil. Getting worms, quitting jobs, and hanging out with bats.
Fighting bats.
Yep. Fighting Batman. So that's all I got. Other than that, Marvel Snap, same old story. Not much to report there. Patrick's here, so I have to keep it to a minimum.
It's how much Marvel Snap do you play?
I don't want to talk about it. I have a problem. I have a problem. I've honestly been on a bit of a losing streak, and with the new job, I have not played near as much. I pretty much just play enough to accomplish the missions and get credits and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've gotten some cool cards. I got Wongers the other day. Oh, Wong, he's a pretty fun card to have.
Yeah, nice.
And he makes you do double attacks and stuff. So, but yeah, I'm I'm still playing it here and there, but that's about it.
Okay.
I'm a hardworking man now, so there's less time to game.
Yeah, you are. The Discord has been super quiet.
Yeah,
with you not in there, just
I have
spamming
been.
all them channels.
It's true. It's true. But don't worry, I'll be back. I just got to get used to the new normal.
Into the swing of things. Yeah,
getting in the swing of things.
Trying to find out where you can have time and all that stuff. Yeah. But you haven't started teaching yet, have you? It's this Thursday, right?
No, it's been the prep. It's been all that it's been pretty busy and tiring.
Yeah, but, I bet.
Yeah. So that'll be this Thursday.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
Back to school. Back
to school. All right. Well, that's me. So that leaves the best for last. Patrick Novosel. Tell us about you. What's up with life?
Oof, man. So I haven't been on
something.
Yeah, I have been on the podcast for I think 3 straight episodes. And it is the longest. I think I've only missed like 1 in a row, if that is even a thing.
Yeah, well, that's your record, 1 in a row.
But there's a lot of stuff happened over these past 4 weeks. So first off, I want to thank you guys for being patient with me and holding down the fort while I was away, taking care of some things. And it's good to be back. It really is good to be back.
Good to have you.
So kind of like go back in time to 4 episodes ago, when during the episode titled "The Novosel Family Crisis." All right,
yeah.
What aptly named title that was, because that was the night that the crisis actually began. If you remember, both my kids came down and they were on the podcast, asking me questions because the wife wasn't here. So obviously I'm the only adult here, and they asked me questions. And one of the questions my daughter asked me, she was asking for one of our cold head wraps because she had a headache. And headaches are normal. Everybody gets headaches, So didn't think anything of it. She grabbed the head wrap and she went to bed. And that really pretty much started a headache for her that lasted about a week and a half. Okay. And during this week and a half, we had taken her to the doctor, her pediatrician, and pediatrician told us to take her to the ER because they thought that she had a migraine. So went to the ER. She got a migraine cocktail, which is like an IV that is specifically for migraines with a lot of nutrients and things like that to combat the migraine. And that it helped her get a little bit better. She had some relief from the headache. Came home and headache started up again. And so after a couple days, we took her back to the ER. We're like, what is going on? Why she still has a headache? So they gave her another migraine cocktail, and it gave her some relief again. So this was the Friday of Christmas week. Was like she was like feeling okay. The medicine that she had gotten made her feel okay. But things from then, that was the last time I actually saw Claire being Claire, because she went downhill and never really recovered from this headache. So she had a headache for basically another week, and it never went away. And this is during winter break, so she wasn't missing any school or anything. And so on Sunday she was having some nausea and she was vomiting, and so we're like, this is some of the medicine that she was prescribed. One of the side effects is nausea. So we're like, okay. So I call the doctor and I'm like, hey, she's vomiting now. And we think it's a side effect from medicine she's taking. So I got some anti-nausea medication, gave it to her, and she threw up again. So at this point, we're like, it's not just a headache. Yeah. And so we take her to Children's Hospital, the Cincinnati Children's Hospital, and we get there, and we get into the emergency room. Again, this is our third trip to the emergency room, and she's wobbly, she's a headache, bright lights, sound, everything is bothering her head, and no energy, very lethargic through this entire time. She's couldn't get comfortable because she always has had a headache and things like that. So she's like pretty much just a zombie at this point. And so we get to the hospital and weigh her. She's starting to get some like vitals, and we're like, then we feel like this is more than just a headache. And they give her some medicine, they put it in her hand, and she can't find her hand. She finally finds her hand, picks up the medicine, and she can't find her mouth. And so this point, like if you have ever loved someone, if you have kids and you see your kid not acting the way they should be acting, it hits you in a way that is not good. And I hope that nobody, like Lucas, I know you have kids. I hope your kids never get this sick. Because it just wrecked me. So to the point where, like I'm a pretty easygoing, joking, fun kind of guy. Like I can get serious when I need to be, but most of the time I like to joke, because that's pretty much my like defense mechanism, like kind of thing, where I like to joke, I like to get through life, I like to have fun, things like that. So when I saw her when she couldn't find her mouth, I was like, there's something wrong. And so part of me is like, I can't believe she's like this. What is wrong with her? But I also was glad that the nurse saw her like this, because both times that she was taken to the ER before, they never saw her like this. So they thought it was just a migraine or whatever. When they saw that happened, she was disoriented. That's when the nurse stepped away for a minute. And then when the nurse stepped away, I was like, I know she's going to be bringing in someone else to take a look at Claire. So got a wheelchair, pulled her into an emergency room, like, another room, and swarm of doctors came in and performed several tests on her. They performed, they drew blood, they performed x-rays, they formed an MRI on her, and then they found out that she had a little bit of sinuses in the MRI, and then she, based on all the symptoms, they couldn't really determine what was the cause of it. They had an inclination, but they weren't going to say it until they had any results. So the only way that they could find out really exactly was to do a spinal tap. So to drain the fluid from her lower back. And that was a whole procedure. That was like, it's kind of like an epidural for women when they're about to have a baby. That's basically kind of what it is, but they go much lower to where like the tendrils of the spinal cord at the end. Apparently there's like tendrils. And they go through that. That's like where like all the fluid is. They take it out there, and that's where they can do a ton of tests. There, they can really pinpoint what the issue is. So we were there. We were in the emergency room for like maybe 8 hours. Through all this, I say all this, man, but there's I only had like 2 seconds to breathe in there because there's so many people that were coming in and out. So as we were waiting for the results for the spinal tap, they take us up to the PICU, which is the pediatric ICU, where we were expected to be there for a little bit because they were trying to figure out what was going on. And so we were there for maybe a half hour to an hour. I didn't know what time was at this point. Yeah. So as and Clark, he's home. We didn't take him to the hospital. He's home. He's with his grandma and pop and grandpa. So I'm like, I got to get home. I got to take care of him. I got to make sure that he's, ready. He's ready to go to school the next day and things like that. So as I'm walking down the hall, the doctor comes. She's like, "Hey, we got the results." And so I walk back to the room. And luckily, I hadn't left yet because they found out, they had an answer that she had bacterial meningitis. And I had no idea what bacterial meningitis was, but it's a huge deal. If it's not treated immediately, there's a pretty bad outcome. So because of the medicine that she was given for her headache, kind of delayed and kind of reduced the speed at which bacterial meningitis can affect you. So luckily we were taking that medication. Otherwise, who knows what could have happened. So she was in the right place. We had her in the right place. And they immediately said that, hey, she's got bacterial meningitis. She's going to be here for at least a week. And when I heard that she's going to be here for at least a week, I'm like, okay, this is serious, So went home, and it just every day that she was in the PICU for just one night. Mel stayed there. I went home, stayed home with Clark, and then I came back the next day. She was moved out of the ICU. She was well enough that they were like, okay, she doesn't need to be in the ICU anymore. We moved her to a regular room where we stayed for the next 8 days. Every day it was just like, doctors and nurses and students. Like, if you ever seen like any like hospital shows where there's a patient in a bed and there's just like 10, 15 doctors, and nurses and students just like trying to learn about this, because it's not like a common cold, like, and bacterial meningitis, it is rare in the age that Claire is. It happens more in like infants and 2 years old kind of thing. Doesn't really happen too much. It happens much less the older you get. So there was a lot of people like learning about this, what are the medicines? What are we looking for? And so we, through the course of our 8 days there, we probably saw 100 to 200 different doctors, nurses, everybody that was taking care of Claire. So many people.
Wow.
But for the first like couple days, it was like every like 10 minutes it was something, whether it was medicine, checking vitals, making sure her oxygen levels and things like that, doing blood work, constant blood work. She was just getting IVs in everywhere that they could find a vein, things like that. It is the craziest time, the worst time, because we've never had an illness in the family, in my immediate family, where it was this bad. I've never experienced anything like this before. I don't want to experience anything like this again. I don't want anyone to experience this.
No doubt.
Because of just the emotional toll, that it takes on you. Like, I was so exhausted, because you're just, anytime that, like, Claire continued to get better every single day. She couldn't move her neck really much. She couldn't sit up. She was like, she wanted to watch like shows that weren't for her age group. Like, she would want to watch like Paw Patrol, because it was just like easy. It wasn't like crazy. It wasn't loud, and when she wanted to watch Paw Patrol, I'm like, man, you haven't watched Paw Patrol in like a decade. Like, what? So just seeing her getting, better and better every single day, but it was just very incremental. And so they didn't know what kind of bacterial meningitis. Apparently there's like 15 different ones. For her, the one that she got was non-contagious. So she didn't need to be isolated or anything, which was nice that we were able to just, come and go,
right.
as we please, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But over the course of the 8 days, my wife and I, we switched off every day, where it was one night Mel would stay in the hospital, the other night I would stay in the hospital, and the other would come home and make sure Clark was ready for bed, or maybe kiss him goodnight and just make sure that he gets on the bus the next day, and then straight back to the hospital. It was wild. And every day something just new just happened. Like Claire wanted to hold the remote, or she wanted to sit up, or she wanted to do something on her own. Even though she may not have been able to do it 100% on her own, like, kind of lift her up off the bed, get her to the bathroom, or help her shower, or whatever, what have you. She just needed a little bit of help. She's always been independent, so having to take care of her was something that I wanted to do when she was healthy, but when she's like this, it was just, I was always on, like not getting any sleep, where I just wanted to be there for her. Anytime that she says she needed something, I'm like, I got up immediately. And even though I had like zero energy, as soon as she asked me, like, my energy level just went up like 100%, and I was there for her. Yeah, it was crazy. So they finally figured out what kind of bacterial meningitis that she had. It took a few days for that and to actually get the results for that. So they were able to pinpoint it, and they were able to give her the actual antibiotic that's going to like attack it. Because before she was taking a couple antibiotics, and one of them was like an antibiotic that covers a whole slew of things.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of like getting her better little by little, but the actual antibiotic for it was going to attack it head on. And once she got that, her everything changed, and she just started to become Claire again, where she was smiling, or she was sleeping, and because she couldn't sleep with the headache. It was almost impossible for her. She couldn't get comfortable, and she started to hold the remote. She started to want to watch a show, or she wanted to get up and go to the bathroom. It was awful. It was so bad. It was so bad. And just, I when you like look up like scenarios about bacterial meningitis, I looked it up once, and I was like, I don't want to learn anything more about this. I want to learn how we can make her get better, kind of thing. Because it was just, going down that road was just rough, just like every night, just praying that she was going to get better.
Yeah.
It was hard. It was really hard, really hard. And so, but everybody at the hospital was so nice. They were so like, I mean, like when you meet like 100, 200 people, you're like, one of them is going to be a bad apple. No, like everybody was just like the nicest people there.
That's awesome.
It was, and it made it bearable,
Yeah.
So little by little, she was getting better. They found out that the sinus infection that she had was the cause of her bacterial meningitis. The way they explained it is, everyone gets sinus infections, and everyone has sinuses and things like that. But there's like, everyone has cracks in their skull based on the way it was formed when you're a baby and all that stuff. So it's just like, everyone just has natural cracks. And part of the sinus infection bacteria from that had actually gotten through and gotten to her brain, which caused the whole thing.
Wow.
So she had a sinus procedure where they actually had to like go up through her nose and go through the sinuses, which was actually in the back of her head, which I didn't know that there were sinuses back there, but there is. So they had to go in there, clean it all out, and once they cleaned that out, I think it was like, we were in the hospital for maybe 4 or 5 days, and after she had that surgery, just a whole new Claire, came back. Just like, it was just like night and day when they got rid of that sinus pressure from her. She started to be able to move her neck. She was able to talk. She was able to be awake a little bit more. And we had played, she's always like, like Uno. And so we were playing Uno, and she I had it was just us two. So I don't know what your rules are when you're playing Uno with two people, but if you do a +2 on someone, you get to go again. So I hit her with +2, I hit her with another +2, I hit her with another +2, and then I hit her with a +4. And this was to start the game. So we played 10 card decks or 10 card hands. So she started with 20 cards. And this girl just came back on me, and she ended up winning the hand. And I'm like, I didn't let up at all in the other hands, and I wasn't going to continue to let up. I wanted to. I mean, it's not very often you get the +10s on an opponent.
Yeah.
So I wanted to win, but she came back and she smiled so big that it just hit me. I'm like, there she is. She's coming back.
Nice.
It was a really, really awesome moment. And she continued to get better. And because she was had a whole bunch of IVs, they put a PICC line in her. And I don't know if you've ever heard of what a PICC line is, but it's like a permanent IV. So they have to do a procedure. They find an artery and they put like a very small, like spaghetti tube in through her arm all the way up through her chest and into her heart. That's where so when the medicine that she gets for her antibiotics, it goes straight to where it needs to go. And so that we had that procedure, which I think was before she got her sinus procedure. But after that, we were done with the procedures. She just had to have this antibiotics in, and once she started to have that antibiotics, it was just like you could see just exponentially her getting better and getting better. And our goal was to we wanted to come home. We wanted to be able to come home, and we told the nurses and doctors we want to come home. What can we do to get us to go home? And they're like, you need to get a PICC line in. That way you don't have to worry about IVs and changing those and things like that. Finding veins, things like that. So it was Friday, and we had met with a nurse that was training us to administer antibiotics through her IV. And so I had never done this before, and this training that we had was just like, I'm learning so much about how to administer medicine through an IV. And so we went through that, and unfortunately we weren't able to leave on Friday because they had to order the materials for us, and we couldn't get it until the following Tuesday because it was Martin Luther King weekend, and they couldn't get it to us in time. So we knew that we were going to be there for a few more days, but I think it was good that we were there for a few more days, because she just continuously just got better. And on Tuesday morning, we were all ready to get out of there. We had been there for 8 days. We wanted to get out of there, and so we came home last Tuesday. So last Tuesday, we had a nurse come out, and they wanted to watch us administer the antibiotics to her because we had to do at least twice a day, once in the morning. At least. We had to do 2 times a day, one in the morning and then one in the evening. And it takes about a half hour for each one. So we did that, and last Wednesday, so we came on Tuesday. We let her stay home on Wednesday. She had school on Wednesday, but we didn't let her go. We wanted to give her 1 day of rest, back at home. And then on Thursday, she went back to school, and she's been at school ever since. She said she was a little tired at the end of the day on Thursday because it was the most energy she has, out in any output for the last 3-4 weeks. And tonight was her last dose of her antibiotics. She got the nurse came out, got the PICC line removed, and right now all she has is just like a bandage over her PICC line that she needs to have on for 24 hours. No more antibiotics, no more medicine.
Nice.
She is
Praise the Lord.
almost 100% back. We have to do a couple things. Her blood work came back. Some things were a little low, we believe that it's just going to come back to normal over time, because through this, the first 2 weeks, she hadn't eaten a thing. She lost 9% of her body weight.
Wow.
During this time. She was very, very skinny. She's starting to get some meat back. Her appetite's back. She's laughing. She's I think it's a better version of her right now, because she's like I said, she's an independent girl and she wants to do all the things on her own. So she's like a typical teenager, and she just shuts the door and goes in a room, and she's just by herself with her friends on her phones, whatever. But since she's gotten back, she's been wanting to be around us more.
Nice.
She realizes, how much, we were there for her.
Yeah.
Throughout this whole thing, it was just nice. Just, she would say, like, "I love you," unsolicited. She would say things like, I'm glad you are taking care of me, or I'm glad you brought me to hospital. Thank you for this. It's been really nice. It was a horrible experience. But it's an experience that, we learned from it. We're able to kind of relate to anybody that any other kid, if anybody else has anybody that gets in the hospital, we're able to relate to that now. We can offer a little bit more understanding in those situations. So it's been really nice. And through all this, we were showered with so much love from Claire's teachers to her classmates to family, both immediate to extended family, her friends, her dance team she's on, my coworkers, my boss, anybody that heard about this story just showered us with love, with prayers, with gifts, with food, with time, with help. I mean, we can't thank them enough for everyone being there for us during this time, because it was hard. But she's back to full Claire and more. She's other things, like I said, she's got some blood work that her blood needs to get back to normal. They did some hearing tests on her where they, with this, it can cause hearing loss. But it's in like, it's not quite into normal range. But I think that was last week, and we're having another appointment about her hearing, and they believe that also is going to come back to normal. So the doctor said this is just a fluke thing. It was a fluke thing that this happened. They don't expect it to happen again. But it's something that we just need to keep an eye on for who knows how long, So it's been a crazy 4 weeks, and that's the reason why I wasn't able to attend the podcast. We talk about life, we talk about games, and life got in the way, and I had to prioritize what I needed to be there for, and I needed to be there for the family.
Absolutely.
So you made the right decision. We definitely were praying for you nearby and from far away, and we are so happy, man, that God is good and God gave you the strength, and you guys stuck it out, persevered, had some great doctors and great people taking care of you there in Ohio. So yeah, I'm so glad to hear that it all worked out.
It did.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Very, very good outcome. Everyone at church can't wait to see her. So on Sunday, we were planning to go to church, and it snowed so much that church was canceled. Both services were canceled.
Wow.
And we weren't able to go. So we'll go. We'll attempt to go on Sunday unless Mother Nature has anything to say about it. But everyone at church has been really, really kind, and looking forward to seeing Claire again and seeing the family.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Man, but yeah, that's been my 4 weeks.
Yeah.
I have played some games. I have done some other things, but I think I needed to talk about Claire this week.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's the biggest thing that's been going on. It really does feel pretty good to talk about it. To kind of, because I mean, as you're talking about it, people ask some questions. I kind of give a short response, or people ask how she's doing. We've updated people along the way, but it feels kind of nice to kind of like recap it all and just to see the whole arc of what happened.
Yeah. So, well, thanks for sharing with us, giving us a peek behind the curtain.
Yeah. And who knew that the Novacell Family Crisis episode would have? Let's never title anything Crisis ever again.
Nope.
Agreed. We have an accord. Bare enough.
Yeah. But no, that's nothing too crazy this past 4 weeks.
Yeah. Just run of the mill stuff. Yeah.
Just that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll update everybody on the IFL part of life next week.
Sounds good. Sounds like a plan.
We're glad you're back, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Welcome back. Now we just need to get Ronnie back from the dead, and we'll be a quadfecta once again. I have a good feeling next week. Let's go. No crises, just hanging out, chatting about the game of life. Yeah, I think that that does it for us in the game of life and the games we love to watch and play and all that jazz. If you, dear joiner, want to share what's going on in your neck of the woods, well, let's do some quick housekeeping, shall we? Where we offer towels, fluff pillows, topped with Andy's candies, and tip you off to how you can connect to the GMGU on Twitter, Discord, Facebook, and Instagram. You can share what's new with you. If you'd rather connect visually and spectatorly, there is YouTube and Twitch. Marc has returned, I believe.
Yeah.
He's been doing some twitching.
Yeah, last couple of weeks.
Yeah, last couple of weeks. So you can check him out there. Finally on our...
So some people actually shared on Discord what's going on in their life. I can handle it if you like.
Do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Do it.
So Corey Smith, aka Corey Fouch, says first thing, because I kind of put out a little like, hey, this is what's been going on. We had a lot of life going on, so obviously we haven't been putting out as many episodes as we have been. We've kind of gone to bare minimum for the moment, which understandably so.
Things have been happening.
Bare enough minimum.
So Corey Smith says, first thing, y'all take care of you and yours first and foremost. That's the important thing. He says, my newest little one is almost 7 months old and about to start crawling.
Ooh, look out.
Yeah, starting homeschooling has been an adventure.
You gotta make sure that you put those plugs on the outlets. You gotta start baby proofing because they're gonna start getting around again. Oh man.
Yeah. He says starting homeschooling has been an adventure. Trying to navigate everything for half a semester has been a lot. Still working through some stuff and what to try next year. He says, I've picked up Warframe for the first time in nearly 5 years, and I'm having a blast.
Cool.
My father-in-law and I play, and it's a great game to kick back with and just work on progressing and unlocking new things.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. Also picked up Red Dead Redemption 2 as a time filler. Never really got that far in the game, but it's still such a great game to play.
Yeah, it is.
There you go.
Nice.
Old Tim Pollen, Captain Bacon, says nothing new here on the life front. Boring ye old Idaho.
Old Idaho.
Yeah, he didn't let that one go.
No, as he shouldn't.
Yeah. Gaming has been great. Been playing Vampire Survivors, Evil West, and Callisto Protocol. Have been keeping him busy.
Ooh, have fun with that.
Yeah, along with that silly Fortnite with Mr. Marc and the Factlers. Yeah, buddy. And then Kevin from the Gamer Parents podcast.
Hey, Kev.
He says, our oldest, 4 years old, just started preschool, and we are just finding out that he is not a morning person.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. Only thing more difficult than getting him to sleep is getting him to wake up.
Yeah.
On the IFL side, I am 30 hours into God of War Ragnarok on the highest difficulty, and I feel like a rag doll.
What?
The highest 30 hours and the highest difficulty? I think I would have gone through like 4 TVs because I would have busted them up. That is hardcore.
That's dedication right there.
I have felt like giving up, but I have come way too far for that now. Oh, and
Yeah.
I have a newfound love for Fortnite, which I played for the first time a few days ago and have absolutely been loving it. Dude, you need to play with us. One of us. Definitely play.
Got another Fortnite. Got another.
Yep.
Another fork and knifer.
Yep. Absolutely. You should play with us. It'll be awesome. And we can throw in Chad Fackler's throwaway character, so that you're only playing with bots for a little bit.
There you go.
Yeah. Smurf it up.
Yep.
Smurf it up.
Smurf it up. But that is it.
All right, sweet. Thank you, joiners, for sharing with us.
Yeah.
We always love to hear. Keep it coming. There's also we do have a Patreon, by the way, and our merch page if you can and would like to support us or gear up with us. So click that one link to rule them all, either in the show notes or you can type it out real quick, linktree.com/thegmgpod. Of course, if you can't toss your attention or a coin to your podcasters, but is still the giving type, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, and or Spotify. It helps us reach new joiners through stars, exclamation marks, and your feedback. So let your voice be heard, literally, if you prefer, at 929 GMG Guys. Alrighty then, Mark and Pat and Ronald Johansson, the spirit of Ronald Johansson, of course, along with you, our beloved friends, family, and joiners. Go get your good morning this week, and may God bless and guide your lives as you live, as you work, and as you game. 2, 3, 4.